Just a little bit of info before the video gets going. This clip is from the VR CruCast podcast, which is available every Monday live over on the VR CruCast channel. Link is in the description. But the whole idea of the podcast is to basically bring lots of different podcasts all together so we can all have a say of what's going on. And this week, I felt that the Firewall Ultra debate was pretty cool. So if you enjoy it, please consider subscribing to that channel. So let's move on to talking about Firewall. Are you guys all up to date with the recent hands-on that all the press people had?
I haven't checked out all of them yet, but I've seen a few of them, and it's been extremely positive. Ian from Eurogamer was particularly impressed with it, and that's someone whose opinion I have a great deal of respect for. So I'm excited, man. I was already excited. Now I'm super excited.
Nice.
I've seen nothing, so I could definitely use like the information. I haven't heard.
Can we immediately call out the elephant in the room? What in the crap is with a button reload in a VR game?
That's the way Firewall's always been, bro.
But it was always that way because of the aim controller, though. There's no aim controller
Right.
now. To me, that's a cop out now.
That is
Right.
That's
Right.
garbage.
And well, listen, like they had, listen though, seriously, that when Firewall Ultra was announced, everyone said, yeah, but there's no aim controller. So I get what they're doing. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but they're trying to cater to their base. The people that are coming over from the first version of the game, they want their experience to be similar to the experience of the first game. So they're going to copy over stuff like that. Hopefully it's optional. Hopefully, those of us who like to do manual reloading will be able to.
It won't be optional. You can't have a competitive shooter and have one lot of people pressing auto reload, because if they're competitive players, unless there's some sort of ruling where in the options it's cancelled out, you can't have a load of people always making the perfect fast reloads and a load of other people. I said it in my video.
He's talking to you, Alvo. He's talking to you, Alvo.
One of my favorite things in a game is those stress moments. You drop your clip. Do you know what I mean? Like, you fuck up.
But I'm okay even with a pop one reload. I just don't want a button press
or a breacher's reload.
Or a breacher's
I
reload.
like.
Just don't give me a button press. And you know what? I don't think most of the people that have been using an aim controller for the past 5 years want a button press either when they're not using the aim controller. Like you're saying, cater to those people, but I don't think they want it.
Do you know what it
I
is,
wouldn't want it.
This is what we need to remember, and this is what I've seen personally, and I could be wrong, is that the PSVR only people aren't too bothered. They're not that bothered, because they haven't really experienced many other games. Pavlov, right, is the only other game that most of them have now played. The guns are fantastic. There's World War weapons in there. For them, it's like an amazing playground. But the weapons in that are very real, very hard to reload. Like the first time we try and reload an LMG in Pavlov, everyone's like, unless you've really reloaded one, you're like, what the fuck am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this before. I think you've got the extremists of Pavlov, and they're saying, do you know what? I actually don't mind a button press. I don't want to fucking stand there lifting this up, pulling this clip over here, racking it back. And so you've got two extremes, unlike all of us who have played Onward, Contractors, Population 1, Breaches. And to be fair, Breaches is even simpler than Population 1.
Breaches is barely qualifies. It barely qualifies as a manual reload.
Yeah, it is just
you hit a button to drop your clip and you put the mag in, and the rest of it's an animation.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just slightly above a button reload.
But it's better though. I still want that. Again, we complained about the pop one reload when that first came out too, because they're like, wow, that's not going to work. It's way too cheap. It's not a real reload. And guess what? Now everybody loves it.
It's arcade.
At least give me that over nothing. Give me that over a button press. I don't want a button press. I can button press and
go
black
backwards here. I just don't want to go backwards. We're getting back to the point of having a controller in your hand, pushing a button to reload, pushing a button to aim down the sights. I don't want to do that. I'm in VR for a reason.
Nobody's complained about a button press in Resident Evil 8 when we got in certain instances, you got the drawers, but there's but it doesn't matter.
I reload my guns manually.
A button reload for switchback. No one's complained about that either. I think it'll work. It'll be a different. It's not everything has to be a recreation of real life.
Yes.
In a tactical in a tactical simulation shooter, it does.
I could. That's the problem. Everyone's kind of right.
I see both sides of this.
That's the problem. Sure. Everyone is
if it's a run and gun game, I guess I don't care. But again, this is a slow paced tactical simulation shooter. This should have a full, or at least give me the option. Again, I know you can't because you can't have competitive if one person's not doing it. But I want the option. Don't give me the arcade. This is not an arcade game. This is going to be breachers, and I want, or at least give me some type of reload.
What somebody said in the chat, Artful, or no, was it? No, Decepticon button reload and OG Firewall was fine, regardless of whether you needed it for the aim controller or not. It worked. It'll work in this. It'll be fine. It'll be okay. Like
outside of VR, it's always a button press.
That's generally how I feel about it too, Roots. And I'm wondering, do we know? Are we confirmed on how the grenade mechanics work in Firewall Ultra?
Yes.
Am I throwing it?
No,
it's a button press.
No.
Arc.
It's a. I might be wrong about this, but GT, isn't it a button? But you aim with your eyes, right? With the
as
eye
far
tracking?
as I know, yeah. So a lot of stuff is sort of controlled with your eyes. Someone's just saying in chat about pressing a button to aim or something. But I don't
auto aim.
I've heard. I know there's something called, like, is it ads? I'm sure someone put it in the chat earlier, but so there's a lot going on here. There's the ad system with the guns where I think when you get them like close to your face, the gun will automatically like link up closer to your face. You've then got the gun angle, and aiming is kind of assisted with eye tracking. So like in my video, I was just going through stuff and I was basically saying like you'll never now be able to, for example, drop your assault rifle and grab your pistol instead of reloading. That just can't happen because you're going to have to always have a weapon select menu to pick the pistol. There's never going to be that, like I remember like having my Pro Tube with the strap and just fucking whipping the assault rifle around just to get it out of the way to grab the pistol. Like that is a very, very cool feeling. So you'll never get that. As you said, the grenades are going to be auto. I was explaining this to someone who is a big Pavlov player, a friend of mine, and they said, well, they might as well fucking shoot the gun for me. It was their response.
Yeah,
and I was like, wow, like that's...
I totally get it. I get why people feel this way, but also, like, since we're using Population 1 as an example, like, let's think about Population 1 reloading for a minute. Like, it's not just this like casual and comfortable, like, oh, I put in my clip and then I rack it back. Like, people learn strategies to like literally cheese the ever living shit out of their reloads. Like if you ever watch Proper D's video about reloading the op, it's just like, bam, it's like so fast. It's unrealistically fast because he's like learned that there's like a smooth motion that he can do that puts the clip in and pulls the thing back. And maybe they are thinking about it from like a balancing perspective where like they don't want people to have to like cheese their reloads or learn how to get it done in a split second when they should just be focusing on like the intensity of the fight that they're in.
So we don't want manual reload anywhere then.
Well,
we're just gonna get rid of manual reload?
No,
because one person can figure out how to do it faster. To me, that's competitive. That's, if you want to be super competitive and be sweaty, go do that like Proper D did. To me, that's like real life. People learn how to reload really fast in real life. I mean, if we're talking about a competitive shooter, let's be competitive. This is a competitive shooter. I mean, I guess I get the both sides, and I don't, and this is not like arcadey. So don't give me arcadey. I'm okay with arcadey. If you want to be arcadey, do that and do it. Like again, with switchback, you talked about switchback. I have no problem with shaking the gun reload, but that's switchback. It's not a competitive simulation.
But can't you have a competitive shooter that also has some arcadey elements to it? Like it doesn't have to be a fully perfect simulation for it to be competitive.
Yes, you
but
can.
that's not. But this isn't that. This isn't that though. This isn't a halfway.
Is that apparently?
If it's not
shouldn't
broke,
be.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. Their game, like Wes was saying on the show the other night, is so successful on PlayStation VR, and they want to give that same game experience to the people that are invested in that ecosystem. And it's bad for the people that want a manual reload, but for people that love Firewall Zero Hour, they're going to get the same game on a better system, and they're going to love the shit out of it. Yeah. And they're in their own bubble anyway. They don't have all the platforms. They have to satisfy that group first, and then the other people will come and they'll be fine. I mean, I get it. I would prefer some kind of a manual reload as well, but I guarantee I'll enjoy the game either way.
If we have to be bound to old hardware's limitations, why are we upgrading our hardware? Why aren't we all just still playing on the PSVR one?
Oh, now let's
Well,
not pretend
that's-
that. Let's
yeah.
not pretend this is the same game. I mean, there are quite a few new features that were revealed this
Unreal
past
Engine
week.
5.
Yeah, Unreal Engine 5, the blinding mechanics and with the eye tracking and the way you can blind people with your flashlight
Yeah,
or
that sounds so
flashbangs.
cool.
You can block it with your hand or close your eyes. I mean, that's amazing.
That is cool.
That is cool. That's really cool. We're very lucky now in VR that I mean, there's still not a standard of everything. For example, like in Veil, you can actually pull the clip out of someone else's gun. Like that is
Love
a
that.
fucking sick tactic. You know, you come around a corner and they've got a pistol to your head, and you go to unload, and you've got like one in the chamber, and you're like, "What the fuck is going on?" It's like, "Oh, I've just got your mag here, dude." like when that happens, I remember. I think it was Viper who done it to me. I was just like, that was fucking insane. It's unforgettable. Firewall's got a place in my heart, kind of thing. You know, it was the first real legendary VR competitive shooter that
Yeah.
I completely loved. Like, I literally streamed it for hours, and you know, bringing people together. We had a tournament, you know, and all this stuff that I'm very excited to do that again. I think everyone's just got to really pay attention to reviews and figure
Is
out.
Breachers coming to PSVR 2? Do we know?
I asked them that, and there's no official yes, but there is like a, yeah, we do want to, obviously. So what they did was kind of right, and I think it's all paid off as well, is that they were getting the best out of Quest. As we first knew, it was a Quest game. And I said to the guys, I really want to stream it, but I'm really done with Quest streaming. Like, it's not fun. And they were like, oh, we're going to do a PC client, so you can see Quest gameplay on a PC. And I was like, well, fuck it, that's amazing. And then next minute there was a PC build, and I was like, oh, right, okay. And then so I'm assuming, dude, like, that'd be crazy. I think the conversation would change a lot for people when that happens, because again, Breaches would be very middle of the road, because you'd have Pavlov on one end, which a lot of people, I love Pavlov, very realistic guns. You're going to have Firewall, which would be its own, to be fair, a very unique way of playing a first-person shooter in 2023. And then you could have Breaches, which is kind of like a bit, I guess it would be in the middle row of them.
And
You're in trouble.
and you're going to have Ghosts of Tabor.
Yeah,
True.
Well,
yeah, September,
Firewall Ultra is going to be in trouble too, by the way, because it's only going to be PlayStation that we know
Right.
of right now. And that player base, when we get Steam, Rift, Quest, and PlayStation VR2, you'll never have an empty lobby with Breachers.
Absolutely.
And
Probably won't
Firewall
get one
Ultra or
without PlayStation. Firewall,
you try and go into the PlayStation VR version in the last year or 2 years and find a lobby. You're going to have problems.
Yeah,
Dominate
if
that
yeah,
space.
maybe if you're someone who is into like public lobbies, as we just spoke about, I probably won't be playing many public matches.
A lot of
Like, I'll be
people that
going
do,
in
though.
with people. You know,
How many complaints have we heard for the last 2 years about Firewall or 3 years about Firewall? There's a lot of
Since
people that play
forever.
public lobby.
Forever.
They're doing dedicated servers now, so hopefully that shouldn't be an issue. What Alex said, the 40 minutes waiting, and that was the problem. That's what I hated about it too. Like, you know what I mean? You're forced to, and their basketball sucked. You make the basketball better, I think. No, I'm just kidding.
but it wasn't
I'll
like
tell you this. I'll tell you this. I will play this game because I'll play it with my friends and I want to try it and I want to, Firewall was awesome, the original, but there's a lot of competition for games I know I love, and they have lost a lot of my interest with this reload mechanic thing. Now, it doesn't really matter. I'm just one person, right? But there's a lot of competition. I really hope they know what they're doing, because this is such like a big selling point of VR, is being able to interact with weapons like this.
yeah.
And with the amount of amazing competition they have in the shooter range, I really hope I get in there and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Never mind. Forget everything.
I honestly think
you know?
they're very focused on one platform. They're not really looking outside of other platforms. You know, that they are a PlayStation shooter. You know, they're a PlayStation VR shooter first and foremost. So again, it's so different. It's so different for everyone. I mean, the truth is, if people like us who are multi-platform can go in there and have a good game, the people who are only PlayStation VR are going to have a fantastic game. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So I can't wait to go hands on with it just to see, because even the clips they did, you know, like you can almost be drip fed negatives from people talking about the accuracy of some guns, people talking about bits disappearing in the videos, and there's all sorts of stuff going on. But either way, I mean, it's conversation about the game, which is cool.
Right.
People
and
care.
You know, nihilist Ryan in the chat says something that none of us have really mentioned. He says, one thing though, Firewall is going to have way better graphics than any of the competition, it seems. And I would say that that's probably true. Like it's going to be really, really beautiful. And to maybe just back up Skiva's perspective a little bit here, you know, Firewall or First Contact Entertainment kind of has a track record of like building off of like their base skeleton. You know, like you think about when Solaris came out, right? Like they targeted that game for the Quest and didn't take advantage of the Quest. It was still basically like a weird port of Firewall, having your hands glued to a single weapon and not having grenades that you can just reach out and throw, and not having manual reload mechanics or any of that kind of stuff. So there is a part of me that thinks that First Contact has just like taken Firewall and like left the core there and then just like added.
Well, that is exactly what the game is. It's like, for example, when we was talking about the lobbies, you still have to go back to a lobby in between rounds. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, why would you not think of a new way to do that other than you're trying to avoid going back to the drawing board, or you've tried and failed?
I don't know. I don't know.
So
what if an aim controller 2 is coming and they know that? That's why they're doing a button press.
Dude, I would lose my mind.
It's not going to
Then
happen.
I'm all for it. Now I'm back in. Now I'm back in.
Look,
all right,
Firewall
for the future. Let's go.
Listen, Eric. With these kind of button mechanics, you know, button press mechanics being added into the control scheme, what this essentially does is it allows you to get a gun stock and use it like an aim controller, because you don't have to pull your controllers out and reload and have all this clunky interaction that gun stocks bring. You can put your controllers on like a Pro Tube or something, and then it, in theory, would feel like a next gen aim controller because of the next gen haptics and stuff. So
does the DualSense track?
I'm sorry?
No.
Does the DualSense controller track?
No, it doesn't. No.
Oh, because that was one of the things about Firewall, is that they wanted to make it to where you could also play it with a Dual Shock at the time. So you could either use a Dual Shock or an aim controller. And anybody who used an aim controller would have told you that's the way to play. But
is there occlusion issues with the PlayStation VR2 controllers yet? There are issues? Like, I don't know. I haven't used it.
Very rarely.
I haven't really used a gun stock.
I do all the time. Not with occlusion, just tracking in general, because I'm in a big, when I'm not on the ship, I'm in a big green room.
That's true.
Only way,
literally,
Steve was
like,
my PlayStation to work is by throwing boxes and shit all over the place. Like when it's time for me to game on my PlayStation, I have to trash the place and then pick up afterwards.
Literally, we were in a meeting the other day.
Every 2 seconds.
I looked around and Steve, I'm like, what are all those boxes all over your room? He's like, yeah, I was using my PlayStation. I had to have something back. It had boxes everywhere.
That sucks.
So this
I think in a slower game like Ghost of Tabor, I would definitely go with a gun stock, like a Pro Tube or something like that, like a full gun stock, because it's slow enough that it's not, you know, you have to reload fast sometimes, but it's still not that frantic, fast-paced Pavlov Contractors type of reload where you don't have to worry about it. And there's no climbing, you know, there's no things.
But there's a lot of looting. You're like always reaching down to the ground.
No, I'm not saying you don't have to
break
up. Yeah, I'm not saying you don't have to break it, but I mean, watch somebody like Short Stacks play with his Pro Tube, and man, he plays Ghost of Tabor better than anybody I've ever seen. He plays with that Pro Tube all the time.
He plays it more than anyone else.
Exactly.
Well, and if Firewall is built to where I actually don't split my hands up, then that might make it That might make a stock sound a lot more appealing.
Yeah, and I guess in that case, it might make me feel better about the button press, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, at the end of the day, this could be really good fun, and it could be very tactical, regardless of all this stuff. So
I like that we're getting these good quality shooter games, though. I mean, that's great. I mean, that's going to be
amen.
Huge. And this brings a lot. This can bring a lot of flat gamers in too that haven't tried VR before, that will try it because it's VR and it's cool and it's something they've never done before.
I was so hyped for Firewall, and I'm not anymore.
Oh, no.
I'm still gonna play it. I'm still gonna play it, right? I'm gonna try it, and I'm sure I'm probably gonna love it. But the thing is, it killed the hype for me, and that's a bummer.
You're getting all the maps from the original,
Nice.
Wow,
that's
really? I didn't know that.
As far as I
good.
know, as I said, it's
That's cool.
Firewall
Oh,
Ultra
yeah.
is the original Firewall underneath, and then they're going. Then you're laying it with Unreal Engine 5, and then the PSVR2 stuff.
So is it only the old maps though? There's no new maps?
There
No,
might be a
there's
new
new
map.
maps.
There probably will be a
There's
new
gotta
map.
be.
There's new
They're better.
Yeah,
contractors.
there are new maps. There are new maps. There are new
okay.
contractors, new weapons.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
But the old maps have been rebuilt, and they're not one for one. They're for example, the like call center map is all disheveled now with furniture turned over. There are new
Nice.
routes through the old maps. There are elevators and things in there now that weren't there before. So it's a remix. It's kind of like a remix of the of all the old maps plus new maps, new contractors, new weapons.
What about
All right,
Anthony's
I'm hyped now.
hallway carpet? The carpet from the hotel, is that still there?
I bet you it is, but it's going to
Unreal
be in
5, bro. Carpet.
glorious
You can-
4K now.
Yeah, you can rub your
Yeah.
face on it.
No,
Unreal
he
World
doesn't.
says an Unreal Carpet.
Unreal Engine 5
Hey.
carpet. Why did we play my mum then? I must have missed that.
So
She's got carpet.
Yeah, you know who wants to rub your face, or somebody said something.
And my mom's
Uh,
carpet.
And my mom's
She has
carpet.
she has an unreal carpet.
Oh,
Firewall's
God.
maps are extremely good. Some of like the best maps ever in first person shooters, in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
I loved those maps. They were even the ones that I didn't like, I still liked, you know, they were like my least favorite, but I still loved playing on them.
I can't wait to go back to the one with the kitchen where you got the donuts and the croissants. And I used to I used to just look at those things for hours, but oh man, I'd love to eat some of these.
I'm hungry now.
Have you got anything extra there, Wes, do you think? Or do you think we've done?
No, I mean I'm trying to skim over it without reading everything, and it looks like they're highlighting a lot of stuff like the new graphics and the 3D audio, things that we were already expecting.
Yeah.
The big focus of the article are the different ways that they're using the eye tracking.